Okay, let's take a look at some of our character sets and how you make certain symbols that are on the keyboard appear on your page. Now, remember that every character, everything that can be displayed, actually can be translated into a numeric value as far as the computer is concerned. Whenever we're working with something called UTF-8, or a character set that we have pulled in, then that tells us what the numeric values are for the symbols we want to work with. For instance, and I put a couple of links in your Beyond the Book to some of the UTF tables. Let's look at a few of the symbols for the UTF tables. So I'm going to go up to the Unicode, and we have all the characters that are on the keyboard, plus a lot of characters that are not. So if I wanted a peace symbol or the yin yang in, then I would have to determine if I'm going to be using our hex or if we're going to be using the decimal. So let's go up and look to see which is which. So I have the decimal and I have the hex. Each one has symbols that we have to put in front of it for the browser to recognize it as more than just a number that I want to display. And you can try a bunch of them over here. For instance, again, if I want to go down and look at something like a telephone, I can click on the try it, and it's going to show me what both of the hex and the decimal looks like. When we have hex, we have the and the pound, and actually that's the same thing that's in front of the hex. They both have the semicolon at the end. It's just a matter of that hex has the X before the number, in between the pound and the number. And if we have leading zeros, for instance, if I had 1, 2, 3, and a 2 here, it puts this symbol here, but also these leading zeros actually are insignificant, so I don't have to put them on there. And I can try some other ones just to see what would print. There they are. Okay. So let's look at how some of these symbols will look inside our page. Plus, I could go out and find an image online to match a telephone and just use the image source to display instead of one of these two. Okay, let's go look. So I have some basic places where I have symbols that I'm bringing in. And let's see what we have. Now, as I look through here, there's a symbol for handicap. And as I go down, normally whenever we work with addresses in between the two, you'll put something in between an address. So we're working with a diamond symbol, and that's how these look. I also want you to notice, though, I went out online and I found this image, which is a diamond. But normally when we bring an image in, we can't get it. Most of them are not the small sizes that we might want to work with. For instance, on my diamond, if I did not all the way down, do a width and a height on it, let me take these off and resave that, and then let's go back out and see what that would look like. Oh, it's down below, sorry. Our diamond might look a little large and throw everything off. So remember, our symbols that we bring down from the net or from where we get them normally are going to have be a little too large without doing something to it, such as we're working with the attributes, width, and height. So now when I tell it I only want them to be 10 pixels, then it makes it smaller. This one's got white around it. I can find any of the others. I did the same thing with a handicap image. That's just an image I've brought in, and I did a height and a width. Just a matter of what will work for you. Things like trademarks and copyrights are used quite a bit, so it makes sense to use the symbol for the trademark. All you have to do is go to the appropriate table so you can find your codes. Notice there are all kinds of codes out there. So you can go to this link and try it and see how you like them. Now this one says for symbols. There's also one for regular characters, such as the 3, the $sign, the ones that you find on the keyboard, and a few others. That's all we have to work with symbols. And remember, I can make these bold. Anything I do before or after is going to affect that symbol. So I could come in here and say I wanted H1, and then afterwards. Okay. Remember, that's my last diamond. I have 2 diamonds through here. Oh, actually, it's not a diamond. That's my quotation marks that I want showing up. So let's see how this looks. It made them big. And also notice I've got a semicolon here. Chances are my semicolon is in the wrong spot, or it's outside of the H3. It's not included in the H3, which is just as I thought. It still recognized it, but that can mess us up if we have anything after here. We didn't this time. I go back. The quote is rather large. So our tags will affect the symbols also, a lot of our formatting tags. I might want my quotes to be a little bit larger than the rest. All right, continue on. We're going to start working with styles, but also we're going to continue on with some very important tags, our links.